Okay, today let's talk about a topic that I was gonna cover. I know I'm gonna cover one day, but right now I can cover it right now. Because right now my computer installing Windows 10, and why not talk about philosophy while it is upgrading. So let's talk about love. Love is the topic that was handled within value system. Value system is because it is human emotion. And everything involves human action and human emotion or thinking is part of value system. If you know the sub branch is that, if you might have to go to my website, is that system philosophy, value system, which is the system of human action, and universal system, which is the system of the universe. So yeah, let's talk about love. Well, let's begin the topic by saying that human, not just human, but animal in general, the reason why we are here today is because of love. Why? Is because of biology, reproduction biology. And most of the reproduction, I would say in history or time, they are there because of love. Without love, you wouldn't have sex, and without have sex, and you wouldn't have reproduction for the next generation. However, love is something that most of the philosophers couldn't define. It's so complex that you couldn't define, and it varies from person to person. Some people can just, have a love of their life for their first person they met and they work. Well, for some people, there are a lot of relationship breakup, and this thing is very complicated, of course. However, there is a definition for love, and definition for love is basically bound of attraction between. It doesn't have to be two people, but it's just between people. Generally speaking, it's still an exchange of values, because love is something that you gain. You cannot love a person unless you get something from it. I don't know if you can understand from it. It's because love is a give-gain relationship. By give-gain relationship, it means when you gain by giving. Basically, what it means is since this term is quite abstract, I want you to think about it. It's basically when you are contributing to a person emotionally, you give, but in the same time you are gaining by giving away. You're gaining by giving away. Basically, for example, if you invite your crush to go to dinner, it might seem like you're giving away, but you're actually receiving. Basically, you're giving physical dinner, receiving emotion, which is love. And that emotion is positive value, and therefore, that's why you do it. There's this attraction. However, for love, there's two kinds of attraction, which every relationship somewhat involves these two. One is visible value, the second one is invincible value. This is quite complicated, but I don't think I covered it on my online lecture. It's part of value system, which I think I covered some of it, but it's not complete. So all the lecture I put online is not complete, but I will define it for you. Basically, visible value are more physically connected values. For example, if you love a person for visible value, it means you're loving that person for example, having a family, having children, having, for example, a person to cuddle or enjoy movies with, for example, like that. Those are visible value because those things are very physical. If you love a person for money, that's more physical. I mean, visible value, that's more related to visible value. Basically, our visible values are factors that you know. They are more physically connected, but it's not necessary. The other one is invincible value. Invincible value is much more tricky. Actually, visible value and invincible value are basically all values. It means they're all something that worth something in terms of values. However, the only reason for classification is quite complex because the visible value in experimentation have been proven to be much more stable than invincible value. Invincible values are short term for emotional value. Emotional values are values that can easily change from positive to negative, from negative to positive. It changes extremely fast. That's why it's called invincible value. And you don't see it because it's not physical, it's emotional. Well, how do I give you an example of this invincible value? Is that, for example, you like somebody, and that can be love. And for example, you say hi to that person, and that person say hi back, and say, how are you? You feel happy because that person do responds to you. Do you feel happy about? Do you feel positive about your response? Basically your emotion towards them. At least they respond, and you feel, oh, at least this person cares about me, and that's positive. You think, oh, this game. Suddenly you feel happy because, oh, now that person I like at least talks to me, and now we exchange number. Oh, I'm happy. However, next time, for example, that person you say hi and they don't respond, you say, oh, I got ignored. Then, that case, the person, a lot of it would be invincible value because you get happy without any physical connection. It's all emotional. You get happy. But when that person doesn't care about you anymore, then that becomes suddenly negative. It's such a rapid transition without any physical connection. It's all emotional. That's why it's called invincible value. Invincible value in value system is quite. The real definition is quite classified because we use invincible value we use it to do manipulations on your overall value system, because visible value and invincible value are literally the same. In the core they're the same. It's like having $1 online and having one physical dollar. They're both money and you can spend it the same way. However, they're different in terms of some core behavior. For example, your bank account can be emptied by hacking. Some hacker got into it, stole your $1 million so easily. Physical, which is unstable. It relies on the virtual security. However, for the visible value, if you have $1 million of bills, it's more physical connected. It's more stable because one cannot just steal $1 million physically. Of course, you can steal like tens of thousands, but you can't steal entire thing. That's the difference between visible value and invincible value. And of course, you can still do manipulations on visible value. It's quite tricky. There are methods, but that method works better when you're using it on another person. However, visible value only works when you're using it on third party. However, invincible value manipulations, you can do it on yourself. Of course, I'm not gonna talk about it because this topic is gonna be about love and relationship. So basically the overall story is that love always gets involved with visible value and invincible value. Visible value are more physical oriented, and invincible values are much more emotional. The reason why a lot of people, for example, honestly about love, the things that makes it magical is honestly the over twisting about visible value and invincible value. However, for love, generally speaking, is 80%. I mean, it depends from person to person. For example, for me, I believe 80% is invincible value and 20% is for visible value. Of course, the statistics is not really generalized it's just for me because I didn't do the research on that for the overall population. But visible value is generally weaker than invincible value. For love, you really need more emotional giving rather than visible value. For people who just want a husband or a spouse just for money, houses, cars, so it's a more towards visible value. Those people are much more towards visible. However, for people who care less about it, who care more about you being whom you are, they care more about the invincible value that they're receiving. But of course, to be in a more healthy relationship, you honestly want to have kind of both. But it depends on you, honestly. I think it depends on you. Yeah. It's situation varied. Really, it means it depends on situations. So yeah, that's love. I mean, for love, this is the best definition you can ever get. You can challenge me by posting a comment. You can Google about what is love. But the ultimate definition is still love is a deep connection of basically is a bound of value. When you have love for somebody, it means there's a bound of value. That usually means when you are giving away, you are gaining on yourself. Which that is mostly, basically, I believe most of the time, I mean, you can give visible value and receive invincible value. You can, I guess, but everything in return. The thing about love is that most of the return you get are invincible value. I believe visible value is not something that you would really love with, because that would be friends. Business is all about exchange of visible value. Because in business, if you like use invincible value for something invisible for visible value, of course that can be true. For example, prostitution is a business. You give money, which is visible value. You get you in return is invincible value, which is emotional gain. However, the thing that puzzles me about love relationship is that it's very biologically remodeled, dependent. That's the word. Because value system runs on our biological order, rules. That's why value system actually have a hard time defining people who are mentally deflect. Because their value system is so, it has some kind of twist. But of course they cannot be chaotic. Because if your value system is messed up, you cannot continue as a life being. You cannot even continue as an animal, because you lose all of the functionalities of being logical. Therefore, you're brain dead. Without value system, you're literally brain dead. However, you can be mentally damaged or kind of just not normal. But you can be a little bit mentally damaged in a sense, but you can still, we can generally define you even if you are mentally, even if you are mental disorder. So most of the mental disorder means certain bias in certain category of your value system, and it can be interpreted. We can look at your overall essence and determine which area is messed up. But the main problem with relationship and love is that it have been around for thousands of years. People couldn't define it. At least my definition fit up to the problem. But one of the more mysterious aspect of this thing is that, again, it is much more related to the core of your biological being. Sometimes I think that love and reproduction is something that it just forced upon you. It's something that is forced upon you, because without it you wouldn't survive. But without it, you have much more freedom, because you get to choose on whom you want to be without influence of biological factors. But see, it's very philosophical. I don't want to get into it. It's very, this is no longer macro or it's not no longer system philosophy. It's a matter of opinions. My opinion is much more fundamentalist. I believe that people should be given the freedom on biological factors. That's why sometimes I believe bisexual people are much more close to philosophically normal because they don't have bias. They don't have biological bias. I want to think about biological bias because it's one of the important factor within value system that is really hard to define. It's not even defined to this day, and it will never be defined even in the future, for the infinite future, as long as we are still human, as of right now, without being genetically engineered to be nearly flawless. So this question will remain, whether or not biological value is something that should be fixed or should not be fixed, because it's part of us. Yeah, think about it. Alright, this concludes this topic. Again, I may not be clear. I believe that I've been jumping topic, but rewind the video, look through from the beginning, try to trace my idea. I'm not the best presenter in the world, obviously, and my language contains too much private language. But yeah, philosophers. There's no way you can meet a philosophy researcher without seeing a lot of private language. Okay, alright, thank you for watching.